Hello, and thank you to all the trustees for their commitment to this university and for their confidence. I'm deeply honored to be selected as the 15th president of Central Washington University. I want to start with a quick story. When I was 17 years old and finishing high school, I was adamant that I was never going to go to college. It wasn't that I wasn't curious or interested in learning. Indeed, I was. The problem was that I didn't have an educational experience that engaged me, that helped me know who I was, what my gifts and talents were, what my interests were, and how I could serve the world. If I had known about a place like Central Washington University, with its focus on student engagement and success, with rigorous and supportive academic programs, I likely would have thought differently. Now, 40 years later, I'm drawn to the mission of Central, with its emphasis on preparing students for enlightened, responsible, and productive lives, for producing research, scholarship, and creative expression in the public interest, and for serving as a resource to the region and the state through effective stewardship of university resources. I'm drawn to the beautiful and welcoming community of Ellensburg. I want to thank the search committee members who made such a deep personal commitment to this thoughtful and comprehensive search. I'm also deeply appreciative of the way in which the community participated in the listening sessions to outline what you were looking for in the next president. A person with a deep commitment to inclusion and diversity, a leader who values transparency and shared governance, someone with a record of supporting sustainability. And finally, a person prepared to lead Central to the next level of excellence. Indeed, it was your leadership priorities that drew me to apply for this position. So thank you for your participation and deep care in describing the attributes you wanted to see in a new president and the challenges and opportunities that we will get to work on together. Central Washington University, with its strong faculty, high-quality academic programs, and innovative and caring staff, has the potential, and I would even say the responsibility, to lead the way in forging a new vision for higher education. We are at a hinge point, a moment when we have the opportunity to pivot based on our growing knowledge and experience with technology. But we also face adaptive challenges as a nation and a world: racial injustice, climate change, and the fraying of our democracy. We know now from our own experiences the great power and possibility of technology for communicating with students and with each other. Our work together must build upon what we've learned about technology over the last several months to elevate the teaching and learning experience of our university. But technology is a tool, and tools must be used wisely and appropriately. The interesting thing about a hinge point is that one side of the hinge remains anchored to what is foundational. At Central, even as we more fully innovate and weave technology into our work going forward, our strength will be founded on remaining true to our core, the power of a personal educational experience that can transform a life. Our vision for the future of higher education must remain true also to our core values of access and affordability, of diversity and inclusion. Developing a shared understanding of why this work is central to what we do, all of us, across the entire university community, will focus our efforts. I'd like to share 3 reasons for my commitment to this work that we will do together. First, as you know, there is the economic imperative, that employers seek greater diversity in their workforce, partly because diversity fosters innovation and creativity. Organizations that build a diverse and inclusive workforce are more resilient, more adaptive, and more sustainable. The demographic shifts that are occurring in our nation mean that we can participate in fostering the workforce of the future. Higher education has the opportunity to lead the way in this work. Second, there is the civic imperative to diversity and inclusion. As the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. understood so well, our democracy will never live up to its fullest potential until truly, all individuals are treated as equals. What I believe this means is that we have an obligation to build new ways of thinking and being in the world that break down the barriers to full participation. Each of us has the responsibility to become models for this great work in higher education. And last, there is the moral imperative to this work. As Nicole Hannah-Jones' 1619 Project has so well described, our country has been built upon a history of racial injustice. Now is the time for us to address this injustice in our academic and co-curricular programs, both inside and outside the classroom. But we also must do more than the work of diversity and inclusion. This work is significant, but it is not sufficient. We also must be about the work of equity, of dismantling the systems and structures that have provided great privilege to individuals like me, while at the same time denying opportunity to others because of the color of their skin, their gender or sexual identity, their religion or their various abilities. The list goes on and on. Now, in my mid-50s, I recognize the great privilege that I had as a youth of 17, thinking that I would pass up on going to college. I am a white, cisgendered man, heterosexual, currently able-bodied, who was raised a Christian. I had multiple advantages that made not going to college a viable option. And now I have a responsibility to use that privilege to dismantle the systems that oppress so many in our society. I am committed to deepening my understanding of this work, to listen, to learn, to reflect. I'm eager to join the great work that is already occurring at Central Washington University in offering access to higher education, like a banquet, to everyone, regardless of their background. And I recognize that the work of privilege is to spread the table for others, to increase access, building a bridge to the future for every individual whom we welcome into our community. In addition to the work of equity, diversity, and inclusion, we must remain steadfast in addressing the other adaptive challenges that face our nation and our world that I mentioned in my opening as well: climate change and the fraying of our democracy. I have a deep and abiding interest and background in both. My teaching and research have focused on issues of the environment from a humanities perspective, elaborating our intertwinement with, and if we allow it, our attunement to the natural world. I look forward to working with faculty, staff, and students on the great work that you've done regarding sustainability. Together, we will elevate that work to meet this historic moment, nurturing sustainable food systems, reducing our carbon footprint, and advancing the social, cultural, and economic components of sustainability. Climate change is a threat that requires us to examine and change our core beliefs, and especially the transactional way we view Earth, our home. From my perspective, we are just getting started with this great work. Similarly, we are at an inflection point with our democracy, which has just weathered a challenge that it has not experienced in its history of more than 200 years. Regardless of your political position, I think we can all agree that our country now is more polarized, more antagonistic, and more unwilling to listen to other voices than it has been in many decades. The adaptive challenges of our time require us to ask questions we do not yet know, to investigate our belief systems, and to come together around a communal vision that will allow us to thrive into the future. This does not preclude constructive and meaningful dissent, for a diversity of views is essential to engagement with the challenges we face. I am committed to continuing to support the work of community and civic engagement through, for instance, Central Washington University's Center for Leadership and Community Engagement, so that all students have the opportunity not only to develop their professional capacities, but also their civic capacities. We must advance information literacy across all our academic programs, for a democracy depends upon a well-informed and educated citizenry. We will work together to find ways to engage in civil dialogue across our differences, becoming models for this type of engagement. Students should know that they belong to communities and that they have a responsibility to participate fully in those communities to ensure that they thrive. Our democracy is frayed. As an institution of higher education, we can be a catalyst in the project of weaving this tattered cloth back together so that our country can realize its deepest dream. In order to create this forward-looking vision for higher education and for Central Washington University to be a model for other institutions of higher education, together we must rethink how leadership happens across our university, elevating shared governance and communal decision-making. Through an engaged leadership, together we can cultivate a community that embraces multiple perspectives, backgrounds, and employee groups. Together, we can build a stronger community that includes students and community members that come from all different walks of life. All of us together can create a place that embraces and welcomes all of these voices in our decision-making process. As we work together to shape our future-oriented vision, I will invite everyone in the community to become a leader in place, to lead from the places where you are, while always recognizing that you are part of a larger community. It will be an opportunity to expand our capacities to see within ourselves the gifts and talents we have to offer the world in service of a larger purpose. The final report of the Search Advisory Committee emphasized your desire for someone to lead the university who would embrace the Wildcat way. I've already experienced, though in a limited way through the search process, the welcoming nature of the Wildcat community. As we develop our vision for the future, we have the opportunity to expand our capacity for open-heartedness, to ensure that all whom we welcome into our community truly feels that they belong. All of us should be able to bring our whole unique selves to campus and know that those selves will be seen, listened to, and honored. As we lean into the future, our vision will embrace change while also balancing that change with our foundation, our core, with who we are as Wildcats. We must build on the foundation that you have created over the last decade and more, nurturing a student experience that truly changes lives. President Gaudino will leave Central Washington University a strong and diverse institution. During his time here, the university has enjoyed the development of world-class facilities, the modernization of technology systems, the strengthening of a culture of shared governance, and an unprecedented commitment to equity and inclusion. I'm honored and excited to carry that legacy forward. The transformative power of higher education that you model so well at Central Washington University, both inside the classroom and out, touches the lives of students. It helps them find their purpose and passion, bringing both to life through applied learning experiences and equipping them to live meaningful, engaged lives in their professions and in their communities. I cannot tell you how excited my wife Sasha and I are to join you as quickly as we are able, and I look forward to meeting you face to face in some not so distant future.